Good afternoon. Today I propose a new ramp at the Scala House, a safer way to dine. ADA compliance. The Americans with Disabilities Act was signed into law on July 26, 1990 by George W. Bush. The ADA is one of America's most comprehensive pieces of civil rights legislation that prohibits discrimination and guarantees that people with disabilities have the same opportunities. The Americans with Disabilities Act provides handicap wheelchair ramp specifications, codes, and handicap access guidelines that most businesses are required to meet, among other things. ADA ramp specifications require a 1 to 12 ramp slope ratio, which equals 4.8 degrees slope or 1 foot of wheelchair ramp for each inch of rise. For instance, a 30-inch rise requires a 30-foot handicap wheelchair ramp. ADA guidelines have other specifications. The key elements are the slope, the length, the handrails, and drop-off protection. At the Scala House, there is currently an ADA compliant ramp, but it is in the back of the building, hidden away from both streets and from the future guest, the current and future guest. The ADA calls for wheelchair ramps on street corners and accessible entrances to a building like power doors, elevators, and buildings with more than one floor. So although the establishment boasts an ADA compliant ramp, it is in the back of the building and not in the front. The reasons that it should be in front: the guests would be able to access it easier. It currently sits at the very back of a tiny narrow driveway. It's not easily accessible. It's not safe for senior drivers who have to reach it from the tiny driveway. It is up a small hill or incline, which makes it dangerous in bad weather. It's not likely to attract new and future guests from the street. And guests must enter the establishment from the back of the building, losing all of the ambiance from the front door up. The welcome sign, the front foyer. They enter through the back of the bar, which isn't as ambient. According to HomeAdvisor, a professionally built wheelchair ramp will cost between $942 and $2,845, averaging $1,836. Depending on the materials chosen for the structure and for the price of labor, expect to pay between $100 and $250 per linear foot. A standard unit is 30 feet long, 30 inches wide, and 30 inches high. The biggest hurdle that business owners face when dealing with APA compliance is the removal of barriers. Barriers can take many forms, and not all of them are obvious to a person with a disability. It may seem impossible to rearrange and reconstruct your business for compliance, but the ADA certainly was not established to cause financial ruin. The removal of barriers is necessary when it is really achievable for a business to do so. So if the removal of a barrier will require excessive costs that the business cannot afford, the barrier is allowed to remain there until it is affordable to remove it. But I think investing in the public safety will pay off in dividends. For instance, there are tax benefits for ADA compliance. Although compliance costs money, the IRS code states that all businesses are eligible for tax deductions when installing ADA compliant equipment or removing barriers. The maximum deduction is $15,000 per year, and small businesses are also eligible for a tax credit that can cover up to 50% of compliance related expenditures. Large businesses are only eligible for the deduction. The solution would be to build a crescendo slope, key-shaped ramp from the road to the front porch of the establishment, and it would only require the removal of some dirt and one porch rail. At $100 per linear foot and a proposed 50-meter ADA compliant ramp, the cost would be $5,000. Additional and unforeseen expenses can be figured in at $1,000, bringing the new anterior ADA compliant ramp to $6,000 total for all material and installation. So my question to you is, what is your guest's safety worth? Thank you.